Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. Josh, we seem to be plowing through the episodes now. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of Tier 1 and Tier 2 events. This time we're joined by Aaron. Welcome to the show, Aaron. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing really great.
Nice. Josh, I guess we always start with this sort of like neutral point, talking about maybe the
Mhm.
team, or I guess in your case, Aaron, X team's history in PERA. A few questions there for us to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to start the show. I know me and Aaron were just talking about it, but I went to an event that Aaron played at back in 2021 in Hungary of V4, and I actually remember Aaron. Funny enough, from that event, you had like a massive comeback versus Fiend in like a best of one. I think it was Mirage, and you were down like 4-11 in the opening game, and you came back to. That was when even Chips was playing. Do you remember that game at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, I definitely remember that because that V4 was one of my first international events, even if it was located in Hungary. But
Hmm.
it was pretty fun, and I remember that we beat Find at the first match or Find. I don't know how to call them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was great event.
Yeah, I remember that event as a whole. There's actually quite a lot of upsets. Remember, like even Blogus got like 40 kills and then just disappeared for 3 years. Now he's at the RMR. So Ryan, time's a funny thing with CS. So yeah, just a little trivia, please, to start off.
Yeah, actually, Blockis was really sick at that time. But
Bro, he was good. And then I think
yeah,
the majority of them just disappeared. Yeah,
we were even watching him, I remember, and we was like, this guy gonna be tier one really soon. And this guy, literally, how you said, he disappeared.
yeah.
And just
I think as well, Ryan. Didn't he go out to China with Kriaz and they had like that whole drama of like not getting paid and they're just in like hotel rooms and
Yes, I think
wasn't it
so.
Wings Up, something like that? They went out to China for a little bit. I
Yeah,
know there's a few European players have done that in the past.
yeah. Bloggis went to Wings Up
Yeah,
Gaming from
that's it.
the 4th of the 10th, 2023 to the 1st of the 12th, 2023. So it was
Couple of months.
quite a short stint. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, we can get into the para conversation. Because this was a team that was like changing organizations a little bit. So I want to start from the beginning, Aaron. How did that kind of come around from going from like unorg to basically joining para? Were you involved in like the conversation with that at the start?
mm, yeah, I was like involved in everything. We were searching for organization for a long time, for like 6 months at least. I remember we started with a Hungarian lineup, like with
Hmm.
Color and those guys. But after Color went out from CS, he started a job, and we always looked for an organization, but we never find a really good one. And after one guy from Turkey, he he wrote, I think, our coach, and this guy just came up and like, hey guys, I'm gonna like give you salary, a professional contract, and just if you wanna sign it. And we signed like in 3 days, and we had the full lineup.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I think the first change, you mentioned it obviously being Hungarian at the start. The first change was MSN and Kamian basically being pushed out, and then Bibu and Kakadao coming in. Now, people will know now Kakadao for his time on Nexus, but even Bibu, like from my memory of him before he joined, it was like he'd been on FPL like Notice and been in a couple of mixed teams, but hadn't really played a lot of Pro CS. So what was that time like?
Oh, that was a really tricky time, and this time was really tough for me actually, because we had a deadline which we needed to put to ESR Pro League.
Hmm.
The deadline was really close. We had like 3 days or something like that. Maximum one. No, we had like 1 week, and we started to practice with Esperanto and Aegis. You know these guys,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And these guys was. I thought they're gonna work. I was figuring out everything in my mind. I tried at least, but it was suddenly not working out. So we had to change. We bring in two different players again. I don't remember actually who was it. And at the end, we had like 1 day until the deadline, and I was like, okay, guys, we have not a good team. We don't have chemistry, we don't have firepower, we don't have anything. So we need to just go all in and bring two players from like our memories, like Bibu, or go back to Emerson and Camion and bring them back. And I was like, okay, I promised to myself, I want to change, because I think for Pro League we need two new players to perform. And what happened? It was crazy. I was just looking Agile TV, face it, like 3-4 hours a day, and I was like watching the games, who played against who. Like Endpoint had always like mixed So I tried to catch one player from there. But at the end, I saw Gucci Academy, and there was Chokardao, and I saw his statistics, and I checked 3 of his demos, and I saw I need this guy because this guy was space taker. This guy was what I wanted, And before the deadline, one day before the deadline, this guy just joined us. So that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So to give a bit of insight for people at home, how long before you actually traveled to Pro League did the roster locks come in?
Can you repeat? Sorry,
Like
I didn't
the
hear.
roster locks, how soon from like the season starting of Pro League do they actually come in for your team?
25 days.
Oh shit, that's quite a bit of
Wow.
time actually.
Yeah.
So that's nearly a month before your first official at Pro League. You have to lock the roster.
Yeah, and you need to count with the travel as well. So not even
Yeah.
it's 20 days maximum.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know it was. I suppose as well, Ryan. It's like such a big group stage, isn't it? So
Yeah.
the event goes on for quite some time. But I guess when you are a team that's trying to get some new players, that can't be too easy. I mean, we'll talk about Pro League a little bit later in the show. But I guess from most people, they'll see that you got rid of Kakadao after Pro League, and then from sort of that point onwards, you bring back Corey, and he was also a player that you played with a lot in the past. So was that an easy decision to bring him in?
Yeah, I would say it was easy decision because Corey was coaching us in Pro League because he was in China, like Bloggies
Yeah.
and those guys. Yeah, and he had some problem, real life problem. And after he wanted to be a coach, but after he changed his mind and he asked me to, can I be a player if somebody leave? And I knew that Chokardao probably will leave, so it was like, of course, bro. I know he's like good player, and I needed him.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the next one, Ryan, someone that we casted a lot for many years was Bubble, a guy that had kind of you'd played against Aaron. At times would be like a top team in tier 2 for quite decent portions when he was on Skade, when he was on Fiend. Even if you go back years ago with like the whole Mortal Kombat and E-Frag lineups, like Bubble is a veteran player. But when I saw that he was coaching, I think he even messaged me actually after I put out a tweet. He's like, "I'm coaching these guys." I thought, really? That's something new. So how did that come about, Aaron?
Mm, he was working in PERA, like as a manager.
Okay.
So yeah, he had a contact to a guy like 2 years ago, and it was something like the guy from Turkey, this guy who signed us, he wanted to build a team 2 years ago around Bubble, and Bubble tried to build a team, but something went wrong, and after everything just like cancelled, and now it again came up. So that's why he was always in PERA in some way, some sort of way, but I never met him. And on Pro League, we actually met, and he said he wanna be an analyst or coach, and I saw he's working really good as an analyst. He was like working, I don't know, a lot of hours he put in Pro League, and we won rounds because like his job.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose the only thing I'm now wondering, Ryan, was did you have fun on this time, Aaron? I know that the whole and the project is disbanded now, but did you enjoy this year playing with them?
Yeah, this was my most enjoyable year in Counter Strike.
So you
Yeah.
can ask for. It's just fun times. I find it
Yeah,
so
fun
weird.
times.
Find it so weird, Josh, that Bubble turned
Mm.
into a coach. Like as you said,
Yeah, yeah.
I remember, when he was. I think the bit that stuck out to me most was like the Skade Fiend era, like when it was like the Bulgarian teams, and like every time you go into that BO3, you're always seeing overpass. You're always gonna see, just like the most like insane slow tempo game into like these quick executes and stuff, and it's strange to me that in that timeline, like what within a year of that, he's gone to a coaching position. And I mean, obviously he's 33 now, which not to say is old in the grand scheme of things, but I suppose it's one of the older ages when it comes to your prime of Counter Strike and stuff. So I guess for him, as you said, Aaron, maybe it was just about knowledge and sort of he could bring his thoughts of working in these systems to you guys. So I guess a good benefit to you.
Yeah, definitely. This guy, as you said, he's 33 years old. He has a family, and like he was always an IGL. And I believe he doesn't have enough time when his kid spawn. He had no enough time, so he stopped Counter-Strike. But of course, he loves the game. Everybody who started to play professional level loves the game. They want to be in esports, I believe, and that's
So
what he's trying.
yeah, I guess the next question now, Aaron, is well, what's next? Because we know that that you're looking for a team now, Ryan. If you scour HLTV, you might start getting a bit of a rough idea on teams that might be looking for a new in-game leader. I think you've got Mouse NXT. Would you ever play for an academy team? I know they don't have an IGL. They've just had Chris and go to OG.
If it's Mouse and XT, yes.
Yep. I mean, working with PR and Sierra, that could be quite fun. Naito, I just saw actually got benched or got let go like today. His contract's run out. Naito, the French anchor.
Really?
Yeah. I was surprised about that. So apparently his contract's end and he's just going. So I don't know if someone else has reached out for him. And...
Yeah.
Probably, yes, because he's really good.
Yeah, they're a really good team. I mean, I know that you've been pugging with some of the Brits recently, Aaron. Do you reckon you could go out on Endpoint, take Max's spot? What do you think about that one?
Mighty Max is like a stone in Endpoint, you know? You cannot like put him out.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm not waiting for Endpoint offer, but of course, if they would contact me, I would like consider, and I might take it. But I have some offer, so I'm fine.
Okay, that's good. I guess I know that we'll talk about the RMR and Pro League, but what sort of led to the whole disband of the team? Because I casted your games. I think it was the final game actually that eliminated you out of the RMR. I think it was quite obvious to the naked eye. You guys weren't playing well at all. It looked like completely off. Like the CS that we saw in previous tournaments to that just felt like it was a completely different team. So was it that the team was dead going into the qualifier, or did like what? Just unpack the whole situation, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm trying to unpack it, but I might like see something wrong because like it was a rough time. It's hard to get out of this time, you know. And how was it? We had a player break in July, you know, and after we came back from the player break, we started to struggle. We had no chemistry. We had arguments. We had like no motivation, bad skill. We couldn't shoot. Like I felt like everything is falling apart. One thing was in my mind that we need to go top 48 or something like that to get the RMR, because that's the highest level of CS. Everybody knows we need to get there, and that's our dream to make a major one time. And we were fighting so hard. We managed to be in the top 48, but still I felt like that we have some problem inside. And I believe that 9 months of playing together can cause this. If the personality is not like, it's, how can I say, the personality is like crashing too much, you know, the team gonna fall apart. If you don't have a psychologist, like a really strong coach, a really strong in-game leader players, then you're gonna fall apart. It's like this.
Yeah. I mean, one aspect you didn't speak about was org support. Was that also maybe something too, like not being able to have a salary and not having a backing of an organization?
Actually, yeah, but we need to like take it away, because we are professional player. Even if you don't get salary, this is the best of the best, biggest of the biggest league. You need to, maybe a bit, yes, but most likely not because of that.
Fair enough. At least they're not using it as an excuse, Ryan, so I'll accept that.
No, fair enough. I guess one thing, Josh, that we're starting to discuss, and you know, one scoreline that I think shocked a lot of people early on today, Josh, in Pro League exactly, was Sangal. But you know, not to just dwell on them, but to talk about the whole season as a whole, Josh, because we've in the wise words, I guess, of every CS enjoyer, it's a shit ton of Counter-Strike, right? I mean, it's what, 4 groups of like 8, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4 groups of 8, so there's 32 teams, and then you move into a playoff stage. It spans over 5 weeks, so you know, you got like a month and a week's bit of Counter-Strike. As I said, it's a shit ton of CS, and you know, no complaints if you're an avid CS enjoyer. I guess quickly I can bring up sort of the teams that were invited. we can have a little discussion. I'll just have a look from the bottom end because I think we'll be looking at a lot more of
Yeah.
those
I
in
think
the bottom end.
just again, just because it's just started, like we literally had day one today, and you're right, Ryan. I mean, Sangal, I don't know if you've seen much from them, Aaron, but that was obviously a massive result from them. What was it like playing at Pro League overall?
It's an awesome experience. Even tier 1 player says that this is one of the best tournament, like which is not in stadium. It's really good, comfortable. Everything is comfortable. Everything is well organized, and of course the tier 1 event. You know, when I met the best of the best, I felt that I can shoot them. I'm enough smart to like kill them. So it was like pretty motivating as well.
And I mean, with the teams that are here, I think a lot of people would have looked at your squad of saying, okay, probably one of the weakest. But I actually think your results were pretty good in the last season, especially with now hearing about how soon the roster came together before the roster lock. So I don't know how good your memory is of the individual games, but you took on complexity in your opening game, and that was actually a very close series. Do you remember much about that one?
Yeah, I do remember. In a really crucial round, 12-10 to them on Anubis. Like we did a perfect play, and Elish killed me full blind, and I believe that thing just like it was 12-11, sorry, 12-11, and Elish killed me full blind, and I remember how good play we did, but we still lost the game. And if we go to overtime, I think it can be like a different game.
I mean, you're always going to have those what ifs, aren't you? Especially at LAN when you're going up against these teams like, this round here or there. I mean, it was a good, I guess, pace setter to see where you're at. The one that would have surprised maybe some people, not everyone, was beating the Young Ninjas NIP roster because it was actual NIP, but it had a lot of the academy players. So did you actually feel like you were maybe favorites in this game just because of how their team was?
Yeah, actually, we did. And that's why we didn't play our A game. Because we had too much confidence, I think, in this game, and we couldn't play our A game. Versus Complexity and versus Big, we were so much better. And versus FlyQuest, I think like we was better as well.
Yeah, I mean, even to take a map off of Big and I suppose come in pretty close. I mean, especially the last map. I do remember at this time, funny enough, I put a tweet out after you'd won map 1. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was like, geez, you know, like PERA's coming here to play. They're giving a good fight to Big, and then you get fucking 13-1 on the next map. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to tweet anymore. I'll leave it there. We'll just see what happens in the rest of the best of 3. And then, yeah, even FlyQuest, like they're not a team that we see in Europe that often, especially for tier 2 teams. Like I know that they come tier 1 quite frequently, but we don't really see them in online comps at all. So was it enjoyable to play the Aussies?
Yeah, it was really fun. Actually, maybe one of the best opponents to play against. But we woke up too late on Anubis. We had like 3 rounds. Yeah, as you can see, we had 3 rounds on City, and after we needed to come back, but we couldn't manage it. But yeah, they were actually Dexter was farming us, as I remember. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know this was obviously quite a few months ago now, but what did it feel like for the team? Just like the morale overall? Was this kind of because you went to the RMR? What was that earlier in the year and kind of got owned? I don't think any of those games were competitive, and now you kind of gone to Pro League and you've at least been able to take maps and nearly beat series. So was the team kind of thinking this is a really good spot to be in, or how did you see it?
Yeah, it's not comparable to RMR. On RMR, we had really bad experience because of like our team was not strong enough to beat those teams. But in Pro League, we felt like we can qualify to the playoffs, and we not almost, but we, as you can see, FlyQuest, Big qualified, and both of the team were just beating us with 1-2 rounds. Of course, this is sport. This is what if, but I felt like that we are strong enough to beat those teams. So yeah, it was pretty fun event.
Yeah. Did you get to go on like the couch at all at Pro League? Did you get to do any like content pieces out there, or were you guys just shafted to the B stream where all the focus is on the tier 1 teams at the tournament?
What was the beginning of the question, please? Sorry.
Like you know how they have the little sets and the couches where you sit with all the casters and analysts. Did you get to do any of that?
Oh yeah. We were invited to kind of everything. So
Oh,
it was
cool.
pretty fun. Mhm.
Yeah, because I think sometimes you can say that at few events, Ryan, where it's just like, yeah, B stream for like the tier 2 teams, like people, the casters at home can go and cast them, and then that's it. So yeah, nice to hear about that one. I guess in the dark history, the RMR qualifications, obviously you were at the previous RMR. This time around, you had to come through the closed quals. And this sort of led to everything falling apart. Do you want to go through it match by match? Do you want to give us a little bit of insight of how all the games went down?
Yeah, we can. But if you can put a picture for me, like about the games, it would help me.
Yeah. I've
we could
got it.
definitely
Hold
do
on.
that.
I'll sort it out now for you. So I guess yeah. Obviously this. I think the major circuit gets a bit confusing, Josh, because you got like these open qualies, then the closed qualies, then the RMRs, then the majors. I suppose it's a good way to filter out, you know, the teams in a fair way, because a lot of people have just shat on the open qualifiers in the past. You guys played 4 games, if I'm not mistaken,
That's correct.
um, at the most recent closed quali. I'll throw it up for everyone at home to see as well. You went 1 and 3. I feel like Josh, it's always funny to have a look at these teams and see like the results. I know we were talking about it with the guys last episode from Zero Tenacity, right? And it's like some of the names that get through, some of the names that don't. It's like these Johnny Speeds guys definitely felt like they should have done better. I mean, I know a lot of people shit on Amcal, and I'll hold my hand up and happily say that I'm one of them. But to go 0 and 3, I think was a big bit of shame for them. I mean, obviously, like OG, I know, you know, not maybe the best team in the world, but for the name, the branding, you know, the slot that they had in Blast, you feel like they should have done better than to get knocked out in the close qualies. Obviously, towards the top end as well, there's some really nice stories there. Obviously, like Sashi, who grinded the Compass event, got all the way to the LAN in the UAE. Obviously, you got Big in there, Passion UA, that's another sick result for Tier 2 in general. Obviously, Saw as well, who have been playing out of their minds of recent. As I said, you guys went 1 and 3, right? Your first game was against Sashi, and you smashed them, to be fair, 13-5.
Yeah, we did the revenge here because like 2 weeks before this match, they beat us 13-2 on Anubis, on an official. So we knew actually how they play, and we were not afraid to play Anubis. And we even watched their demo, and it was really easy to understand their play style. It was like they had like 1-2 playbook, like 1-2 strategy in their playbook, and they kept repeating it. And there was a lot of not mistake by them, but a lot of gap what we could use, and that's why it was kind of like easier to beat them now. But of course, my teammates were like 21-7 Deagle watch. Like this guy killed everybody. Bibu was really strong. Like he's a holder, and they couldn't kill him. So of course, mechanically and the teamwork was on point as well.
I think, Ryan, you spoke about some of the teams. I would say, Aaron, it felt like your team had a bit of a rough draw with the teams that you could have gotten. I mean, you need to beat the team in front of you, but you kind of get a good win against Sashi. I would say most people would look at that as an upset just because of the form that Sashi have been on as of late, and they've been to quite a few LAN events. You get Saw in the in the next round.
Yeah, what is this? And that's very big.
Yeah, I mean
Crazy.
that's a tough one after them just coming off of Cologne. So, what was the mindset going into this game?
Okay, so we knew we are in 1-0, but that doesn't matter anything. And we had to decide which map we want to play. It was like we decided to play Nuke. And everybody knows that So Nuke is one of the greatest now. They beat FaZe, they beat G2, they beat kind of everybody there. But I was confident as an IGL to play Nuke because I know how they play, and we already beat them before on an AGL TV match like 3-4 months ago on Nuke. But we at 2-2 we lost to Nico, so our mentality just went down because we lost the full USPs when we had AKs. We lost our economy. That meant like we could have go 4-2, but instead we went to like they won the half, and we just kind of fucked up, I would say.
Yeah,
But
3T rounds isn't a
what?
massive amount to work with, is it?
No, it's not. But watch the first kills. Like first kills we had like equal. Clutches, we won 2 clutch, they won 1 clutch. That means like it shouldn't be 4 rounds, but we just like mentally blocked kinda. Some of us maybe mentally blocked and we just lost the game. I cannot really comment anymore on this.
Okay. Well, then maybe we'll touch on the next game because I think, again, getting back to the draw, you've got Big now. I would say that Big, for the latter part of the last few years, have struggled against tier 2 teams. But I would say in maybe the last 6 to 9 months, they've actually been getting more consistent of not just getting upset by like random teams quite consistently. So what did you think of this one? I know Rigon's only just joined the team. Like Big are kind of tier 1 to tier 2. Like I don't know. They're not the strongest in tier 1, but they're still tactically very sound. So are they a tough team to play?
No, they are not. It's like same as it's similar to OG. Of course, they are like bigger players and like more experienced players, but it's like more about the branding again. You see Big and you think about like 2 years ago how Big was, like they were tier 1, of course, but now I would say like similar to FlyQuest, if I can compare. I don't want to hurt them, but they need time to improve. And on this match as well, I don't know if anybody of you watched it, but it was like rough as hell.
Yeah, this one, I think I only streamed your best of 3. I don't think I
Mhm.
streamed this one. So what was it, Ancient, and you started T-side, did you?
No, we started city side
Okay.
because for some reason Big was the lower seed. I didn't understand that.
It's probably the Booker roll scoring, right? Happened. Is that round 3 or round 4?
I don't know, to be honest, mate. Yeah,
Round 3.
I couldn't tell you.
So my guess is because you beat Sashi and they were like a higher ranked team because of Compass. You take their seeding and they'd be above Big. I think how that
Okay.
works. So, so you then effectively take Sashi seeding and move forward in the competition under Sashi seeding until obviously
Okay, I
you
got you.
lose.
Yeah,
So
probably. That's why. That's why we could start City, and I did the preparation for Big, and I knew exactly what they're gonna do. They repeated themselves 100 times. What we did, it was perfect. We went 6-0. Imagine 6-0 in best of 1. Like you need to win couple of more rounds in City, and you're gonna be like, okay, if you win T pistol, you done. Maybe 13-4. But after 6-0, Tabzen was smart, really smart, because he understand that we anti-strutted them so hard, and they changed everything. They faked us. They faked their rounds, and that's when the trouble started. And I didn't realize it fast enough. It was 6-2 when I realized it, and I gave it noise. So yeah, they were smart actually. Like they understand that we heavy anti-strutted them.
Yeah, adapted well. And then, 6-2, don't really get too many more rounds after that. And then, yeah, this was the best of 3 that I streamed. Nuke was close, but Dust 2 just wasn't at all. So do you want to maybe run through how this went down? Because I think realistically, Aaron, if we're looking at some of your accomplishments on this team, like this is an embarrassment, right? To not even take a map versus Cilia, like you should be 2-0ing these guys.
Yeah, like shit day. And one of our star player, Cory, had to play on different PC because his electricity went down in the morning. That means he needed to cross the border because he's living close to Hungary. And he crossed the border to Hungary and he sit on one of his friends' PC and he had like 144 hertz and like I don't know how much FPS, but not so good. So it was crazy. It was unlucky a bit as well.
Yeah, and I mean, even in Cilia, I think they went on and kind of held weight versus Nemega in the round after that, but they weren't able to qualify in the end. So yeah, this put you guys 1-3. I mean, was the expectation at a bare minimum to qualify to the RMR? Like, did you feel as if you had enough strength in the team to make it happen?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, but even if not qualifying, just lose like you put 100% there and every circumstances are okay. Then you can say, okay, we did everything, guys. It is what it is. The opponent was better, but it was so much worse than that.
Yeah, not the happiest Ryan of situations, but look, I mean that's just what CS is, right? And I suppose you, as an in-game leader for such a long time, realize that not everything is positive. You can't always get those qualifications. You can't always be that top 40, top end tier 2 team. You're gonna have some down periods. So yeah, that was basically it, right? Like I think, have you got any more officials just to play out for the tournaments to finish, or are you guys completely done now?
We are completely done.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to this one, Ryan?
No, happy days for me really. I would say I'd like to see. I know it's like a long shot, but in my opinion, it'd be nice to see if these close qualies were at LAN, because I know the RMRs themselves are. What I think would be really cool is if we had a system where all of the teams through the close qualies that qualify to the RMR obviously like stay wherever the RMR is actually hosted, because I know sometimes they do it in different countries to the actual event, right? So you invite all the close quality teams in. You then sit the 16 team down. They play the Swiss stage. The 8 that lose obviously go back home, and then the 8 that stay get like 3, 4, 5 day break, whatever, and then go into the actual RMRs. Because I will say now, for those that are maybe a little bit out of the loop in terms of sort of the scheduling, right, is obviously, just to put it into perspective, Aaron, you played that last game against Incilio on the 23rd of August. And just for comparison, the RMRs themselves for the Perfect World Shanghai Major don't start until the 17th of November, according to Liquipedia, right? So there's some big fucking gap. We were pushing so hard this whole season at the end of last one as well for, you've got to play these events, you've got to get points, like this, that, the other. I don't see why we have an event that's the close quali so far away from the actual RMR, because I even remember, Josh, for what Copenhagen was the first one for CS2, right? For Copenhagen, I mean, what, it was like a week break, 2 week break, I think, 3 week. Like,
I think it was pretty close. Yeah,
it definitely was not the 2 and a bit months that we're asking now. So I don't know
Isn't
what's...
it because like it's in China, and like you need a visa and stuff. It's like more rough to fix stuff, like fix the visa for Russian citizens. It's really hard.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on even if the next major, like if it's the same. I don't know with the spacing of time, comparatively, of what it's going to be like every single one. But yeah, I mean, to me, I don't really care whether it's like online. I like the closed qualifier in my eyes. I know it's really important for the tier 2 teams, but I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Put them online and then just push them to LAN after.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you actually, Aaron, the teams that did qualify through your closed qual, do you actually see like any of the underdogs, or maybe like our tier 2 teams doing quite well and that can make the major? Like I know in the past we've had some, like Ecstatic as an example of being one of them. Do any of these teams here kind of catch your eye?
Not really, actually. Not really. I don't know. Rebels maybe the guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the only one I probably wouldn't say.
Really?
But we'll see. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
They're quite inconsistent. They lose to teams they really shouldn't be losing to, and I just think because of that they're going to struggle. Like they've got some okay LAN players, I suppose, but actually maybe do they even like they had a good run at Katowice early in the year, but they haven't really in my eyes I don't think they've done a lot since then.
Yeah, they didn't, and I remember like playing versus them is maybe it was I would say it's one of the easiest like of this top 8 team. Passion UA, I would never like I don't want to play against them because these guys are really strong. For some reason, they shoot really good and just organized, and so hard to play versus them.
Yeah, I think the LAN aspect is a big question mark with those, isn't it, though, Ryan? Like, the young players being at an RMR around all the tier, like even being in the hotel lobby and like FaZe players come in the elevators, like they'd just be shitting themselves. So we'll have to see how Passion do. I mean, Saw I think should get through. Nemega look really good. I think their form is really consistent in tier 2 right now. Sashi, I think unlikely they kind of make it. 9 Pandas, I mean, I don't know with this whole Aurora and 9 Pandas thing. I don't know what the lead up would be like moving into the major for them.
Yeah, I guess a question to you, Aaron, right, is if you were 9 Pandas, and obviously with this change with Clax and whatever, are you allowed to rechange your roster between the closed quali and the actual RMR, or do you have to play the whole event with the same roster that you started with?
I need to understand how was it they changed 9Pandas
Yeah,
changed
'cause-
Clax to ID's balance, yeah?
Yes, because they had Clax and then they transferred him to Aurora and then pulled
Instead
him
of
back.
Resat.
And
Yeah.
now,
Result came in, yeah.
yeah.
But they put him back, the Clax.
At one point, yeah, they returned to everyone, didn't they? So it was like,
And then he went again.
yeah,
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. But they played with Resat, yes, the tournament.
oh, yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, they did.
Might be-
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then
Yeah,
fair enough. Then,
But
no worry.
they had some like change I heard about, yeah.
Yeah, I think even there seems to be like a little bit of a rumor going around that Deco's retiring and this like young star is gonna like take the AWPing duties away from him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Deco's like 20. He's got to be like 21 or 22, and I think it seems like he's just gone. So we'll see if that translates into anything else officially. But yeah, that's what I've seen over the last few days.
I
mean-
guess. Sorry, go on, Aaron.
No, I just wanted to say feel bad for Deco because I know how good he was. So.
Sick player. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to use this as a neat segue, Josh, to maybe talk about some of the roster changes that have
Yeah,
occurred as
sure.
of recent. I think less to talk about in terms of bamboozlement and just shithousery within Counter-Strike and more semi-serious changes. Obviously, I think the one we can talk about, we were discussing earlier, right, when we were talking about, if Miles NXT was going to come about, is that change that Crisian has gone to OG now, right? So
Yeah.
that's a big change for them. I guess for Miles NXT's sake, well, I think actually both parties probably quite happy, right? Miles NXT, I mean, OG are one of those teams where we've heard that they've overpaid for fucking everybody, right? That they have just put money where their mouth is and they've just splashed dollars. So, with Christian going, I guess, if contract was about to expire or, there was a few too many zeros than maybe Miles were expecting,
Sure.
Christian can now play in RMR circuits, can play in Tier 1 events, there's no overlapping with Miles anymore. And Miles have just pocketed, fucking some serious money that we can go and spend, maybe we want to try and bulk up the Tier 1 team even more, get a sports psychologist or, I'm not sure if you've seen, Josh, actually. I will pull it up. Have you seen the video of their new sports facility that they have?
Oh, the one in Hamburg?
Yes.
Like for Mouse, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, by the train station.
Bro,
yeah,
that is... so...
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if you've seen the clip, right? And it's of
Oh,
them...
maybe not. Oh, is that the one with the crowd and the
yeah,
lighting and
bro,
shit?
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
mental. Okay, I won't show it if you've seen it, but if not, maybe go and check
Well,
it
the
out.
viewers can
on-
see it.
Oh, yeah,
Aaron probably
hold
hasn't seen it.
I'm still scrolling, in all honesty.
Oh,
so
okay, that's fine.
there's
But
a
yeah,
lot of
I mean,
Valorant posting.
what do you think about that one, Aaron? Because they've lost an IGL, and now we find out today that Naitu, their anchor, is also gone. Probably not does the whole team not disband, but do you reckon they now just start thinking about completely rebuilding from the ground up? Like, I'm sure in my eyes, I think Sierra and PR are Tier 1 ready like now. I think they're pretty good to go up that next level. And I'm kind of thinking now that you've lost an anchor and an IGL, do you just kind of open up offers for the other three?
Yeah, I believe that the other 3 player got some different offer, and that's why they're releasing the Nitu and the other guy, and they're gonna rebuild totally the thing. And I just want to say like Tobies or whoever picking up
Yep.
the players is like smart as fuck because these guys are making a lot of money and a lot of good investment. Like Torji and the whole Mouse NXT is like now one of the best team in the world. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it will go down in the history books as the best academy team from what they've been able to produce. Because even that first one you mentioned, like all of the academy call-ups with JDC and Exertion, and then just think that they've now rebranded, brought in like a brand new one, and already they've sold off Nexius to OG, they've sold off Crisian to OG, and you've got PR and Sierra that are playing really well. So it feels like whoever's picking up the talents, they're scouting them well. Oh, here it is, Aaron,
Yeah.
by the way.
All right.
How mental is
Why
that?
they need 25 monitors?
I'd honestly not a clue. Not a clue at all.
Do you reckon this helps, Ryan? Do you reckon that this gets them gets them ready?
to be honest, like, it's so difficult to say, right? Because obviously, I mean, all the lights, the cameras, like all of this shit, like in your face, you're gonna get used to it. Do I think it's beneficial? Like, it's such a detriment to the team's success? No, not really. But if it's going to add, even 1% onto sort of nerves, calmness, whatever, like, I don't see it as a bad investment, right? Like, it's pretty insane to me how like nuts this whole thing is.
But I can imagine, like, if the players just go in there one day for a scrim practice and the management's not there, like, I'll just leave the lights off, like, just don't worry about it. Just we'll just go and sit here in boot camp. We don't need all the extras. But yeah, that's in Hamburg, the little boot camp facility that Mals have. So yeah, we'll see what some of the roster changes are. I can only imagine that they're gonna go for young players again. Like, that whole lineup's really young. Probably don't want some like old as fuck players in there. They want like a 16, 17-year-old, and yeah, that's probably the direction that they'll go.
Oh, I will add on to what Aaron said as well, and I've got to hand it to whoever the fuck's cherry picking these players, because you got to think. Originally, it wasn't even Tobiz that was the coach, right? It was Cyclone that was at the helm picking players and forming the original Mals NXT side. And the fact that they moved him up to the main roster, brought in Tobiz, and they've got this like even younger generation of just sensational talent is insane. And you know, we were talking about in record books and stuff like that. Honestly, I think not only is Mals NXT one of the strongest people in the Academy League, or, that team, that iteration of the team, one of the strongest Academy teams. I've got to say, I think Mals as an org are probably the best org in terms of scouting I think there's been in some time, Josh. I don't think there's a team that have pumped out this much talent, this much success, this many names in such a short period of time. I think, when Mals NXT was made, that was in 2021, and that was Torji, Shui, Shane, JDC, Zershan, obviously Cyclone, MHL was in there for a bit, JDC obviously then promoted to the main team. Like, some of these names that they're just pulling out of nowhere, like QQ, Nexius, obviously you've got Sira, Bermalov, PR, Netiu, Krisian, like, I don't know, man. Yeah. There's a scroll of names that these guys have plucked out.
Yeah, I do think, though, I am surprised because, Aaron, you've probably seen it as well. Everyone's got to announce these tournaments for next year, right? Like, the dates are kind of coming in, that everyone needs to announce what their circuit's going to be. That no one is jumping on this, like, Academy aspect. Like, we had the Academy League, but no one is, like, announcing that they're doing an Academy LAN tournament or an Academy League again. Like, I'm a little bit surprised that hasn't happened. And I suppose to counter that as well, Ryan, is that a lot of the main orgs that bought in when the Academy League was on, like, a lot of them aren't supporting anymore. Like, Fnatic went out pretty quickly, didn't they? They had their Rising project. They won a season, and then they've just kind of disbanded and not put money into the Academy scene anymore.
I think one thing to touch on, right, is you have a look at, I'm just going to pluck out season 4 and 5, so the one that you worked, Josh, and then the one that I worked.
Yep.
So obviously Fury Academy don't exist anymore. Fnatic Rising don't exist. Eternal Fire, some players promoted, some players sold, doesn't exist. 00 Prospects doesn't exist. Apex Rebels doesn't exist. You've got the Astralis, Big, Spirit as well. All Academy teams, don't think they exist anymore. Na'Vi Junior, I'm pretty sure, do they still have a team? I think they have like a Na'Vi youth team, right? Like that super young team, but I don't think that's quite the same. It's like so many of these names that we had then don't exist now. I'm wondering if people were
probably all pulled out because of the league, right? Like, they probably all went in there because of it, and then once the league disappeared.
My point being is, I wonder if someone does dangle that carrot in front of orgs again and do what we did and be like, oh, Academy League's coming back if people are going to start investing in this younger talent. And I've got to hand it to WePlay because a great bunch of people, off broadcast and whatever, Josh. Not only that, like, what an idea to do this just specifically for Academy teams and things like that, to try and progress the younger teams of the day. It's a shame that obviously with what happened with them and them having to change direction. I think they do like a lot more studio stuff now, right? And do a lot more like Twitch oriented things from what I saw. It's a shame.
Well, I think they're basing it out of their US office as well, which obviously isn't great for CS. So yeah. To move on with some of the other teams, you spoke about Amcal earlier. Aaron, I don't know if you've seen some of the newer pickups that Amcal have made. They brought in this like Nota guy from Rush B, and we were talking about it on the last episode that his buyout has been rumored to be extremely high.
I don't believe that.
You don't
I'm
believe
sorry.
it?
Yeah, no.
He's not a believer. Anyway, have you seen what this young kid's made of? I think they've got Topo as the AWPer and then Nota as the rifler.
Yeah, I mean, this Nota guy seems pretty solid by his statistics, but I never seen him playing, and I never watched his demos and stuff. But these rumors about $350,000,
Yeah.
no way. Maybe in rubles. I thought to my teammates maybe in rubles, not in
Yeah. Well,
dollars.
yeah, well, I mean, for Amcal, like I casted them today, and I think always Ryan, they look a bit mid at the moment just because they're like rebuilding, but they've just brought in some younger guys to back up. What is it, Forrester, Crad, and Travis? That's kind of been there for a little while. I did see an announcement on Twitter actually that this like Amanek team has been picked up by ESC. They're in like I don't know where they are, but some sort of boot camp. They've been like trolling about and making some content. I don't know. This team looks kind of mid to me, honestly. Like it doesn't really scream to me as much that's gonna happen. What do you think, Aaron? Can this team do anything?
I have some I have some friends there, but I don't think this team has huge future, you know. But I
Yeah.
wish them good luck, and maybe I never thought that Sangha gonna be like this. What are they doing? How? I thought these guys are like solid, best of the FPLC players, or like solid, I don't know, solid tier 3 players. But now they are beating FaZe, and they are just like beating kind of everyone.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to watch, keep the eyes on that one. But yeah, for anyone at home, that's Lunatic, which is like the Polish player that's been there for ages. Kaluba, who played in the Bulgarian scene with 500 and skate and all that lot. Amanek, who, yeah, everyone knows him from G2. Sved, who's played mainly like Eyeballers and Little Mix, I think. And then Depression was what the AWPer on iNation when they were at the, I think it was Blast RMR back at last year. So some names that are known in the tier 2 scene, but yeah, they just got picked up from basically being unorged to actually having a home and getting a salary.
Fair play. I guess what Aaron said is right. You know, like this team on paper probably don't look too fantastic, but crazier shit's happened in tier 2 CS.
Yeah.
So I can't put it past them. You know, like it's interesting as well because there's a lot of teams like this right now. You know, like the Project G guys as well with them trying to find an org. Yeah, the Jax team and
yeah,
whatever. Like there's a fair few teams right now on the scout for some orgs. So it's nice to see that blanks are being filled. Right, I think it's the most important thing. One other thing, Josh, I guess, is the Harvu announcement.
yeah,
it's classic, really, isn't it?
yeah. I don't know what to think about Harvu because they really haven't had anything successful for the better part of the last few years now, and it's a shame, right? Because I think we get it a little bit in the UK scene where it's like you want org support, but you also want results, and you can't always go international, or maybe you can. I don't know, like with what they had in 2020 and what they had with Ariel and X7 and that roster with like even Dotto, and it feels like it was really strong. I think they were like a top 15 team in the world just a few years ago, and now it's just nothing. Like they made a bit of a run playing in Espo last year to make the stage, but yeah, Otto and Arax have been kicked. They've got Uli, Puha, and Yellow left. Aaron, I mean, the Finnish scene's in a bit of a rough spot. What do you think? Do you reckon Havu just like pull the plug completely and just say, maybe we pick up like a young project? But there just doesn't seem to be any talent coming out of Finland right now.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, like Havu, if they pay their players, then they made a mistake. That's a big mistake to have five. It's not a mistake to have 5 Finnish players. Don't get me wrong, but 5 Finnish players who's are not on the same level and they are not capable to win any tournament. It's a problem. It's a waste of money. It's like spending money on. I can spend it on crashing cars or something in the garden. But I wanted to say, like, if Havu has enough money, like even if they can pay 1,000, 2,000 euro or something, and they have one player scout who is similar to the Mouse and XT one, then they can have like top 50 solid team easily. Because Mouse and XT, as far as I know, not paying tier 1 salary, and like it's of course they want, and I believe Havu could afford that. And if they thinking like Ans had Finnish lineup as well, Now they started to go EU with some good results, some bad results, but they are on a good path, I believe. And for your question, like about Finnish CS, I was like wondering who are those players with HLTV picture, 35 years old, and like I never seen this guy, and they are getting signed. I saw like there are 3 or 4 different organizations in Finland, and I never
Yeah.
heard some of them. And the
Yeah, I think
players, yeah, sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say I think one of them I did see just because of his fucking HLTV photo was this P12 guy Ryan that was playing with Slowy on rounds.
Yeah,
Man looks like he's 50. So
yeah.
that might be the guy that Aaron's talking about.
Yeah, definitely this guy. And there was like 3 or 4 of like plus 35 years old, and I never seen these guys. Why they getting salary? Why they wanna make Finnish Counter-Strike good like this? It's not like this. You need to pick up the young talents. You need to make either academy or take up Banjo, take up the young Finnish players, and just good luck. But like this is not gonna work. It's just waste of money.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think Havu is like a really household name. Like if you speak to a lot of Finnish fans, like they think of Ents obviously, but then they think of Havu because I think Havu's always been more to the roots than maybe what Ents has been in recent years. But it's just it's a name that we see or at least expect to be somewhat decent in tier 2, and they just haven't been for quite some time now. So yeah, I don't know, to be honest, Ryan. Like you've got Ents Academy that's like not even Finnish anymore. Like they've moved and they've got like a Georgian player now. They picked up a North Macedonian IGL. Like if Ents Academy can't even get a Finnish team, how can Havu get a Finnish team? Like that just tells you where the local scene is right now.
Yeah, I think as you said, Josh, this one hits quite close to home, right? And I feel like the best thing for me, at least the compromise would have been, is before the shit show of changes that happened post Espo, is if they had tried to have stuck to the Finnish roots and then gone for like the European route on like a couple of players. Like, you know, if you're, because it's clear the direction is we've got to stick to Finnish, right?
Yeah.
And for me, look, I don't mind if you want to be a full 5 Finnish team. That's cool, but as Aaron said, if you're just going to throw money at this project and expect results when you know, as someone that understands the Finnish scene, as basically one of my own at this point in the UK scene, if you're going to throw money at the wall, like at least try and make something stick. And it felt like a lot of these changes that they were making were just so sort of, it was done in like a desperate eye rather than in a logical one, right? It's like, oh, we're just going to try and make this change and see if this works. And obviously, you know, players will be trialed and vetted, and okay, sure, this person, you know, fits and whatever, but obviously it isn't working. It would have been nice to have seen them at least try do what Ents originally tried to do, and that is like stick to some Finnish core or at least have a Finnish route and then branch out into a more European aspect. But as it goes, it's like it's just money's being thrown into this like bottomless pit at this point, and nothing much is coming from it. I mean, it's a shame, really. It really is a shame because, as you said, Havu are like when you think of Finnish CS. To be honest, like if you're someone that's only just come into CS, and I mean like last couple of years, you're probably going to think of Havu before Ents, right? Because Ents has been European for so long. I guess for people that understand it more, obviously, as you say, Havu is probably the second name on that list, and I guess you want to capture the home fans and you know whatever. But
Well, they couldn't even qualify to Espo. Like that,
Yeah.
like that's the joke of it, is that Yano and fucking Alu and his boys qualified, and even Henu. I mean, he's just on like a retirement home there. Like you play on that team, mate. You aren't even pracking, are you? You're probably just turning up. You're playing your officials, and you're going home. So to not even qualify to Espo would have hit home. Aaron, I know that one of the teams that was grinding a lot in the player break, when you kind of mentioned it earlier, was Johnny Speeds. Now they were at the RMR qualies with you guys, and just before, literally, I think the morning of, the announcement came out that they were standing in with Dex. Now we find out Chawsy's kind of been kicked / leave. I mean, you might not never really know exactly what happened there, but what do you think about that one? I mean, a team that was doing so well, just losing their player right before the RMR.
Yeah, I have been talking about this situation with my friends and my teammates because this is like really rough. Like we didn't know before what happened, if Chawsy left or he got some ban or they kicked him. But I heard that this rumor, what you said, like he got kicked or / leaved. I don't know what happened really. But if he lived, one day before the RMR, that's like backstabbing your friends, even if you don't want to play with them. I I think it's not acceptable. Like one day before, like if you have some problem with the others, then you have problems probably not one day before the RMR, but you have problem for like weeks, months, and you need to understand that you want to leave this project. Then you leave as soon as you understand this, not like one day before a big tournament. If he got kicked, then I don't understand the team decision.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I feel like either way doesn't look good. Either way, whether he got kicked or whether he left, it doesn't bode well for the team or him individually. And I don't know this 100%, but I do know that they were boot camping at the NIP facility. Now, Ryan, I'm under the assumption, being an unorg team with the RMR closed qualifiers, the NIP said, look, come in, we won't charge you, we'll basically give it to you for free. You know, if you were orged, it would be different, but that's my perspective, is that they got free treatment of a boot camp and they've fucking had that of a stand-in at the RMR closed qualifiers.
Yeah, just feels like a massive waste. It's probably a bit of a like gut punch for NIP, right? It's like, okay, like even in the tweet that you're talking about, Josh, it's like Johnny Speeds and Chauzy have decided to go separate ways. It's like, that just doesn't fucking help anyone, does it? Is he kitched? Is he benched? Did he just leave on his own accord? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Anyway, and it says the goal is still the same, to be Sweden's leading team and establish ourselves at the top of the world. And it's obvious that Johnny Speeds obviously tried to pitch that in some way to NIP, being like, yo, Swedish team, we want to go at it, we want to go hard in the RMRs, we want to show that Sweden's, like, you know, as a team is still on the map, because there's a lot of Swedish players, but not a lot of, like, Swedish full fives. It's like, we're going to be trying all of that, we're gonna make this work, and then all of a sudden you just kick someone. And as you say, like, this most recent event in terms of the RMRs and whatever is just, it's just terrible, to be honest, man. Like, I don't know how you can make a change so close towards the like RMRs, or, you know, like after the boot camp and whatever. Like, the whole timeline of events is just fucked for me. I hate it in every sense, unless if there is some serious, like, situational thing, like maybe it's something personal. That's the only thing I can think of where this is acceptable, where Chauzy is like, I need to fuck off, I need to stop playing CS. Like, that's the only way this makes sense to me. Other than that, I feel like this is a net negative for everyone. Chauzy misses out on a close quality RMR. Johnny Speeds have to, you know, play for the next few months back to square one, bearing in mind they were absolutely fucking demolishing teams online in Tier 2. It just feels, and NIP just wasting a week of their time setting up the boot camp for them is just, I don't know. I wish, obviously, everyone the best, but this just seems so counterintuitive to what this whole project would have been about.
Yeah, just a shame overall. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the next episode, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of shuffling in Sweden. You've got eyeballers that are basically 3 players at the moment. You've got Johnny Speeds that are just 4. You've got some players on the bench like Robin out there on Alliance, and you kind of got the Young Ninjas guys as well. You've got a couple of Swedish players like what's his name, the Orpa on Project G. I can't think what his name is right now. Played in the UK scene a little bit. Anyway, PERA. Yeah, that's it. You know, so there's like a few pieces around in international projects, but I reckon over the next few months we're going to have quite a bit of shuffling between the Swedish players. It just seems quite likely.
Yeah, one more thing I quickly want to chuck in before we do the Tier 2 Dream Team, Josh. Yep. I'm not sure if you saw, I know we were talking about Pro League earlier, the whole Tessez situation.
Oh, with the Snapchat.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw it in there because I think it's quite funny, and it's nice to see that people are crunching down now. Tessez did this interview with HLTV. So they won map 1, and then it got overturned because Tessez was caught using Snapchat. And it was said here, I was having a quick read just a second ago before I pulled it up. Obviously, he's like, oh, it's fucking embarrassing, an amateur or whatnot. And it was here yesterday on Media Day, the tournament management reminded each player from each team of the new ruling for EPL this season, and they were required to sign a document stating that they understand this rule, the punishment that will apply, and accepting consequences. Each player in each team signed the contract. Failure to comply may result in default loss or, in the worst case, disqualification. I don't know, man. I just think I feel bad for Tessez because obviously it's just unlucky that, well, it's not unlucky, but he's had it on. He wasn't meant to, got caught with it. It's a complete accident, obviously. He's not trying to.
Yeah, there's no way it's intentional when you get all that information, is there?
100%. No, it's completely accidental. But a serious gut punch because, as you'll see in this event, you know, I know you get a few chances in Pro League, but
Yeah.
probably would have been nice to have started that on a little of a higher note than what just happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't really have any words for that. It
Yeah.
just feels like tier 2 stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
how does that happen? I don't know. Yeah, now it's happened once. It probably won't happen again,
Oh,
or maybe
yeah.
it will. Maybe we
Yeah.
just need to watch for the next few days.
Yeah, maybe. This is my favourite part of the show, Josh. Might be yours as well. We ask our guests to make a tier 2 team, the dream team of their own. Usually we have like 2 guests on and we'll compare and contrast. We're going to ask you, Aaron, basically, you're going to pick 5 people in your tier 2 dream team. You can put yourself in the team and you can put up to 1 teammate. We'll go like, obviously, PERA days. You can put 1 teammate in there. And then you can make the best team possible, and me and Josh will have an analyze of the team that you create.
All right. So I would start with an Oper Sland. I don't know, is it count? It's count tier 2, tier 1.
Do you know
it's
what?
Like,
Gamer Legion have looked pretty shit since they've lost Snacks. I probably
that's what
will
I'm saying to
take
Sland
him.
every day.
They're 41st in Valve, 34th in HLTV.
This tier 2,
I
even
think
tier
we'll
3.
allow
yeah,
it.
let's take him. Let's take him.
We'll
yeah,
allow
I'll
it.
take that. Yeah.
We got an Oper. I would pick Makaze from Navi Junior.
Oh, the Kosovo player.
Yeah.
What was
do you know what? I keep seeing some tweets about him from like these random like CS2 accounts. It's like, oh, here's Makazi's stats. I'm like, who the fuck is this account? Like, why is this coming up on my feed? Like, his HLTV stats don't look that great, but apparently his ESEA advanced stats look pretty good, Ryan.
He was the
Alright.
number 1 in ESA at once, like in some statistics.
Yeah, I
And
think he's leading in FPL as well, right?
FPL is not working right now, so don't count it.
Don't count it. Okay, it's
No,
something.
don't count it. It's like not working really. There is no games.
Oh right, okay, yeah, that might be why then.
Yeah. What I know about Makaze is like their coach is Coolio, who's Hungarian, and I'm talking to him, and he told me this Makaze guy is pretty sick. He's not leading FPL. He's leading Face It actually. He's number 1 in Face It.
Oh, there you go. I saw something. He's like up for 25 grand.
Yeah, that's Face It League, like normal ranking.
Mate, imagine that. Just being number 1 on Face It Run. You just get 25k.
Just why
not-
tier account?
It's a hard stuff. It's
yeah,
really
I
hard.
can't imagine it's that easy.
Yeah,
you
I'll
said
see you in the pugs in a bit,
pretty
Josh.
normal.
Don't you worry. We're on our fucking way. We're on our way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got the
Um,
inside scoop on him. I think I played a pug with him once, and that was about it. That's all I know about him.
That's not so much. Let me think really, just a bit. I need to look.
You're not gonna put yourself as the RGL?
I cannot.
Oh, you can.
You can. If you want to put yourself in, you can.
I go, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to play with Sland one day, actually.
There we go.
Okay, we are 3. We need some, like, Makaze is probably like space taker. He's like I can send him out mid and he will just do his job and shoot 2 and GG. We can just go for on site. So I believe he's like an anti-fragger aggressive rifle. Can you check if he's an Oper? Maybe I'm wrong and he's an Oper. No, he's not.
No,
Okay,
no, it doesn't look
okay,
like it. Yeah.
0.6% sniper kills per round. So
Okay. We need 2 more. It's not that easy.
What sort of
Oh.
roles are you looking for?
I'm looking for an anchor, and I'm putting Buzz. Definitely Buzz.
Yeah, he
Wow.
just joined
Yeah.
OG. Well, I don't even know if he's joined. I think he's like trialing. You know, probably
Yeah.
will join that team. But yeah.
Do you count him as a tier 2?
yeah.
I mean, he's tier 2 at the moment, isn't he? I know he's played on Astralis in the past, but I think right now I'd classify him as a tier 2 player.
Yeah. Oh, this lineup looks sick, actually. We need 1 more +1. I'm looking 1 more like anchor, but the guy who's playing aggressive at the same time, like Ian.
got Nilo. I know Volt probably not the best choice right now, but you got the link up with Slend.
He's trying to do like what the FIFA chemistry is.
Yeah. Green lines all over, mate. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Who is it?
I said Volt and Nilo are probably like 2 options for anchors, right?
Not Ward, because like he's doing bad lately for some reason. I'm sad to him, but
Yeah, I was gonna say his Fnatic Academy days, Josh, were insane. I remember him playing on Fnatic Academy. He was dominant. I mean, even on ITB, he was, I think, an overlooked player. Went to Gamer Legion. It just hasn't worked the same for Seb.
He's still been there the longest out of everyone.
Really?
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
most...
he's the oldest now as well. I remember I was talking to him like a week ago.
He's been there the...
Yeah, I remember talking to him. I was like, "You're the oldest now." He's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "You old bastard, you old fucker, man." I think he's what, 22?
Yeah, been there the longest. That is crazy.
For 5th one, I would say Kios, and let's go. No, wait.
Oh, hang on. He's pre-fired that one.
Yeah, let's go with Kios. I wanted some
Kios.
Sangha player, but fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, if you exclude the Kios pre-Gamer Legion move, I think it would have been a bit questionable. But I have seen him come into his own as of recent, Josh. I'm not sure if you... Oh, pre-ITB move, sorry. I'm not sure... you know...
I mean, he looks okay on ITB. I think the problem is more the star individuals than anything else on that team.
Yeah.
I mean, Fletcher is not doing much, and I think... they've only just brought in Red Star as well, so it's a bit early to tell.
What I don't like in my team is that we seem so quiet team. So we are not like a big voice team. Not so many hype. I know Kios. Like I played only 2 officials with Kios when I was standing into the breach, and this guy was giving a lot of impact. He's talking a lot, by the way, but it's like quiet a bit. Quiet. It's okay. Like not much stress. Buzz, I don't know Buzz. I just watched his demos because I wanted him in PERA when I kicked Camion and Emission. When we kicked Camion and Emission. I wanted Buzz, and I watched some of his demos. He's really solid, really good. Yeah, like Makaze, I don't need to say words. Like he's aggressive, and we need this kind of players. And Sland is like really solid oper, and I enjoy playing with him. He's already waiting for me right now to play Phased.
Yeah, let's wrap it up then, Ryan.
Yeah.
Mate, he's got a face again to play.
He's chasing that number 1 off Makaze. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going for the 25k.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, Aaron, for joining us. Pleasure as always for you to come on and have a chat with us. I appreciate that greatly. Josh, I think that's it. We've got one more episode tomorrow, I guess. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be live now or already uploaded. So
I just want to say quickly, I know Aaron said that kept it quiet, that he's got some offers, but do you want to use this space now, Aaron, to let everyone know that you're looking for teams?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking for team, guys.
Just in case you didn't know.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Give that man a slot. Anyway, thank you very much, Aaron. We'll see you all tomorrow for the next episode of Tier 2 Talk. Until then, have a good night.